Right now, Tracy. Sure. Yeah, I mean, no. So that's the family here. So you can get something. So that's what it is. It's kind of. I just think he said it. So. So be. Come to the photos. So I'm gonna go ahead and. Bill. Yeah. Yeah. They told me about it 6 weeks. But I can walk around this.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up today, tonight's council meetings. We can get started here. I've asked Tracy to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Discussion on it? All in favor? Carried. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for April 14th, 2025? Motion made with corrections. Wayne, second. Second by Peter. Further discussion and corrections? On and you're the now for the down on line 4. Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on that?
Is it 2025 or 2026?
The agenda should be 2026, but it's, we need to check that. But on our minutes, it says 2026, that helps.
No, not on the number 4 on the wall.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the accounts payable payroll for April 2026? Motion by Teresa,
I second it.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have any award or public recognition? Go ahead, Ben.
Excellent. I would like to thank the State Highway Department, Jesse and Tony. They came down and they helped us with the leak. It was super nice to have some extra set of hands, so grateful for the state's cooperation and for their help being right there on Main Street. And also thank Wayne and Colby for their time that they spent. Colby took 2 personal trips to Cokeville and 1 to Logan to get parks for them, so appreciate that time spent.
Recognize you applied to late night trip to get here, away from your schooling to get here. Appreciate it.
And then just to turn around and go back. So that's good. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. Any other public recognition or awards? I feel bad that Eric's not able to attend tonight's meeting, but I'd like to recognize him anyway. And the service that he's provided for our community as the police chief. Done a great job for the last, I think it's 5.5 years or so. Maybe off on my number. But he really turned our police department around as the police chief. I think he needs to show some appreciation. Also, I'd like to recognize Tracy the last 8 months, the chief put in is that we told. We have this, he's done to try to keep our town in check. For those that don't know, they'll be leaving this within a couple of weeks. Any business? On a new business, Stephen Allen?
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you as always for giving me the courtesy to come and visit you on my annual trip. This is my third year running, coming and visiting you. And I get well received. I'm just hoping that this big turnout isn't just because I was on the agenda. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So some things I certainly want to share with you from the legislature. Commissioner Conley and I spent some time down there along with Commissioner Shumway about a week talking to our legislators, promoting Lincoln County and the cities and things that we're facing. Wanted to thank House Bill 22 for failing. That was sponsored by Representative Heiner, which would have been a recall for municipal elections. So you guys get voted in once every 4 years, and everybody gets that chance every 4 years to take you out. So you shouldn't have to worry about what you're doing and who you're pleasing. You make the best choices you can over that 4 years. A lot of times that's a learning experience. Having been there, it's not an easy job. So, and it certainly isn't for a lot of money. We know that, but it keeps our cities running. We appreciate that. The legislature did set us up in a recession. Obviously, last year we were 25% across the board. It affected everything, especially our special districts. I don't know how Cheyenne can make decisions that people had already made for themselves within the special districts to share tax revenue to provide services that supported their friends and their neighbors. I think that's an anathema to what we do. They talked about the lower valley and 112% increase in homes. And that's why they needed to cut the property tax, give people a break. What they didn't tell you was the legislature already capped you at 4%. Even if you had your house and you bought it for $200,000, the guy comes and buys the $1 million one next to you, your property tax was only going to go up 4%. Inflationary rate since 1954 has only been 3.54%. Legislature already did a good job. They gave you a cap. So you already had a measure of security, right? If you're going to come in and you're going to buy an expensive house, you know you're paying higher property tax. But for those of us who are already living here, it would have been capped at 4% anyway. So the other piece to that they missed was that we were the second lowest county for under milling, which means we were being conservative. We were being fiscally responsible with our dollars here. You take fire district, the Timber Fire District, South Lincoln, they can go to 3 mills. Cemetery districts can go to 1. Hospital districts can go to 3. That's without a vote, right? The board just can say, those are our mills. Fire districts are being so responsible, 0.89 mills. Now that they got cut 25%, what do you think they're going to look at? Because now they can go to 3, right? That swing was, they estimated we were going to lose 2.8 million last year. We did. If all of those mill levies come back up to their full amount, that's over a $4 million swing the other way. So it's concern. It's something that the legislature should have looked at as we did that. One of the things we're looking at, of course, the 25% this year, it has to be a primacy on your home. So it's no longer second homes. Last year, everybody got it. You had a house, you were paying property tax, you got 25% off. This year, you got to apply for it. It's got to be your prime home. And so there's a lot of conditions to that. So we don't think it's going to be as great of a hit. When we looked at our initial projections, and of course, we still have to wait for fourth quarter, and there's some good things on the horizon with fourth quarter. Don't think I always come and get bad news. I always give a little good news too. We're already at 3.2 million we have to cut from the county budget. So it's going to be slim. This is where I talk about, put us in a recession. Well, compounding that recession is coal mine. Coal mine is going to be doing, their contracts ended in 2028. We went out and toured it about a month ago. And they're in reclamation. So even if you got a new owner who wanted to mine the 5 million tons that's sitting in there and go to the North Block, which we have another 67 million tons, they got to get permitted and it's going to take time. It's going to take 3 years minimum, even if you started today, to get those around. What does that affect for us? Sales tax, which we all share equally, right? Throughout the county. Doesn't matter where that dollar's spent, that sales tax is split equally with all of us. But the assessed value to the county is extreme. It hurts us pretty badly. One of the things we're watching very closely, House Bill 120 that went through, that's the new industrial zones. Now, why do I bring those up? Because Mr. Meyer, the state treasurer, stood up and said, Opal's a great site for those industrial zones. They want to take natural gas and create it, or natural gas, and create a secondary product. So they can get it through the ports on the West Coast, right? Because we know Washington, Oregon have blocked us from sending fossil fuels through. But if it's a end product, it's a whole different ballgame. So that's what they're promoting with that. Now, here's the problem. Opal is a great spot for it. It's a turn hub for natural gas. We can put one in, but what does it do for industrial siding? That's a question that came up yesterday. We had a company in with the workshop with the commissioners talking about wanting to bring some new business here just north of Opal. I looked at him and I said, well, who's going to pay the impact assistance? Because in an industrial zone, you get a wave industrial siding. And guess whose voices don't get to be heard then? Yours. And you guys have sat in on 4 industrial sidings with us over the last 2 years. And they were rough, they were tough. And I'll go over some of where we're at with those in a minute as well. But let's look at the bright side. TerraPower's here. That's staving off a lot of more problems. TerraPower, you guys are earning $12,318 a month for that every month for the next 5 years. That construction isn't going to stop. So that's something you can actually count on in budget, which is great. The expectation, however, of 5 million a year in sales tax, that's a key component. We still have to kind of wait and see if that's really coming through. For us, we're down about 1.8 million to 2 million in sales tax already this year. We're waiting to see what fourth quarter looks like. The industry's paid once a quarter. So we got to wait till our fourth quarter. And that's important for you to look at your budget and look at your historical sales tax revenue. And do you see that wave of increases, right? So you can budget next year more effectively. We also, up north, we had a bunch of prepackaged modulars get stored in Lincoln County. There was about 196 of them. They were coming through. First 81 off McNeil Road. We said, well, gosh, how long are they going to be there? Well, we only need them there for 90 days. Guess what? That's point of delivery. That brought $700,000 of extra sales tax to Lincoln County. That's what our planning and zoning is doing. Watching for those opportunities where people want to use Lincoln County and send those things. Guess where they went? Jackson Hole to build a hotel. And I said, that's fine. You can pay the Lincoln County 5 cents, or you can go up and pay the 7 cents up there. We got it all, $700,000 to the county as a whole. So those are kind of things the county's doing to keep on track. When we look at, we actually have 5 industrial sightings that affect Cokeville, right? I will tell you that Pacific Soda and Project West, Trona is in the toilet. Use my name, use it by offending anybody. The Chinese dumped a lot of it, especially the synthetic, on the market because they're shutting the factories down. When they did that, price went to nothing. So those companies are holding off before they start those. And you've got some stake in those. So it's going to be a while because industrial siting doesn't pay until they start construction. Blue Spruce, still on track this summer. They have not done an extension. We expect hopefully by September, October, we start seeing some of those monies. And I really want to give a big thank you to you, Mayor. Your commitment to increase your sewer with those monies, very impactful. Affects this county on a large scale. And I've been touting that. I was on SBI a couple weeks ago saying just that fact and wanted to thank you again for that commitment. The septic study that we're doing up north, it'll take 2 years. It piggybacks what DEQ did in 2015. DEQ was supposed to follow up every 3 years. They forgot. We caught them, said, hey, we need to do this. So it'll take us 2 years to get that. The difference in the study this year, we added 3 new locations for the Salt River, and we're looking at DNA. We want to know if nitrates are actually flowing to the Salt River. Are they animal or are they human people now? So we're going to be getting some really good data here, and we'll really know where we're at in 2028. And that's key to that. Lincoln Solar. They have to be started by July of 2027. They're already coming into the planning office and looking. So that may be coming back on the hook. So we don't expect that to be extended. They've got to kind of start digging if they're going to get any of their credits. I think most of the credits end this July, so we'll see where they end up. But at least they're showing interest. So we'll watch that closely for you as well and keep you abreast of where we're at with that. Some upcoming things coming on. Any questions about any of that? I know that's a lot of information right off the bat. Okay, let's talk about the upcoming ballot thing everybody wants to talk about. You got a 50% referendum, definitely going to be on the ballot, right? Statewide, 50% tax reduction for all personal property, regardless second home, regardless first home, and it's a 2-year look back. That goes through, we're paying back 2 years. That will put us in a bigger recession from our standpoint, because it's going to take us another 3 years to get that caught out, because we're going to have to pay back some stuff back to January of 2025. So something to be concerned about. We're watching very closely. EMS is coming up for a vote next week. We understand the situation with EMS. My background's in healthcare, so I get it. We need it. The question always is, who sponsors it, right? Never been a moneymaker. It's a lead loss for hospitals. We do it because that brings the referral base to us, and we want to get people there timely, and it becomes care. The unfortunate part about this is that Star Valley Health has asked the commissioners to take it from the voters and appoint a board, which the voters will never get to elect if the board's appointed. There will always be an appointed board. That appointed board then would, if it gets created, would then have to come before the commission before July 15th and ask for up to 4 mills to be put on the ballot. We're back to increasing property tax, right? The voters do get a vote for that. And if they start saying, I'm not paying anymore, and it starts down the no, how many times you've done that, right? Okay, I'm done. I'm voting no, no, no. Anybody else? We've all done it. But if that happens, you could end up with a board and no funding. And it would take another 2 years to get there. So a lot of hard questions when you weigh this. We want that service, but how do we approach it? I'm not sure, is this the right approach? It's a hard question. Commissioners aren't even close to making a decision. It'll be up to what the public hearing comes up with, and I encourage people to come and talk to the commission and let them know what you feel. We get some towns that say, yep, we want it. Some towns up north said, nope, we don't want it. So we need to hear the voices. The other thing, 5 county commission. We know the petitions out there. They basically have to get 1,100 people. I went on SVI and said, the clerk gave till the 15th of July to get anything on the general. Well, she has it within her power to give them more grace. She chose to do it. So they'll have it at the fair. You can have some more discussions with the GOP who's sponsoring it, a local party. Here's what it comes down to. We have no official position. Whatever the voters decide, that's who we work for. And that's what we respect. If you go to 5 county commissioners, it's a 2-part question, right? 1, do you want 5 commissioners? Growth of government. 2, commissioners is a minimum of $300,000 just to put 2 more commissioners on. We won't even talk about the logistics of I only have 3 chairs. I have a small room. I am building a district court. So when the district court's done, then we can move downstairs. We'll have more room there. So we're planning for those things. That's my role. My role is not to necessarily have an opinion, but to prepare the commissioners that when they make that decision, my staff's ready to implement. So we've done a few things where we have it shelf ready. To get, when they say they're ready, if the people give us 5, we're gonna make it happen. That's what we're here to do. If you go to 5 commissioners, the second part of the question is, do you do districts? Right? Districts are based statutorily on 3 things. Commissioners will decide based on population, topography, and social economics. We have 3 different economies in this county, right? Lower Valley, Upper Valley, and South Lincoln. I've always said Lincoln County is like a car, right? South Lincoln County is the engine, keeps it running, keeps the money flowing. You go up to the Lower Valley, it's a beautiful lines, pinstriping. You get into the Upper Valley in Afton, it's wonderful leather, warm chairs, right? Burl wood trim. And everybody goes, well, what do you do, Steve? My job's to keep the wheels on the car, keep it moving in the right direction, right? So we all come together and we all play a purpose across the board with Lincoln County. We all need each other as a point. Right? So that's going to be a hard part, and that decision doesn't happen until 2028. So at the earliest you would see is the 5 commissions in 2021. The biggest thing and message that commissioners like to share is get yourself educated and vote the way that's right for you. And whatever that is, we will work with it, we will make it happen, and we'll move forward. But we're going to move forward together. That car's going to go in the same direction. We're still going to be one team, one fight, Lincoln County, one family. And that's what's important to remember when it's all said and done. There's a lot of things being said out there. Social media is the worst thing. I can't even get rid of Facebook right now. It's driving me nuts because I get it. What's going on now? I was never like that, right? You're going to hear a lot of things. You're going to question a lot of things. Call the person up. Ask them what the truth is. Educate yourself, right? Don't care how thin you slice a piece of ham. There are 2 sides to every story. A lot of people saying, personally, I spoke with Lance Oviatt. I said, you know, Lance, I think it's great. I think the populace should get a choice of whether they want 5 commissioners. My cautionary tale is it shouldn't be personal. I got to tell you, it's personal. When you're coming from me, I'm not the problem. I'm not even the budgetary issue. I'm the solution. How did I become the solution? Let's talk with $4.5 million. I saved this county in the first 18 months of me being here. I make $120,000 a year plus benefits. That's well below a couple of the other administrators in this county. Your 4 big cities have full-time administrators. Those are all part-time mayors and council. There are only 4 part-time people in the county. One's a coroner. None of us want to see him, right? And the other 3 are the commissioners. If those other cities who are larger than Cokeville see fit to have an administrator because they need help, why shouldn't the commission? Even if you get 5, you're going to have some training. What's a cooperative agency? What's NEPA? What's industrial siting? Mayor can tell you. That book is that thick. If you think somebody you elect for the first time in a position can read that book in 30 days and know what it says, that's what we have to have, is that transition of knowledge. Now, I will tell you that I am happy to serve for as long as I'm asked. I came to Lincoln County because I was offered by Commissioner Jerry Hansen an opportunity to be a part of something bigger, because he knew Terra Power was coming. He knew industrial siting was here. Those 4 industrial sightings with the cities and the county, we brought in over $34 million in the last 2 years. Now they got to start construction before we see some of that, right? But we have our ticketing. That's us fighting for us. If people think that this job doesn't pay for itself, I've already paid for myself 10 years old. But ask the question. You got to know what the truth is for yourself. Look at both sides of the slice of the ham. I apologize, Mayor. I kind of went on a sidebar there. But I think that's important. You guys are dead set in the middle of the county. You're getting it from both ends, north and south. And Cokeville's a wonderful place. I always love coming here. Always love presenting to you. And sometimes it's been hard. We ask hard questions. That's what it's about. So I stand for you. I'm willing to answer any questions, concerns. You know, it's trouble when Charles starts thinking. And I want to thank you for your service on our Travel and Tourism Committee. And that's something that Connecticut County did. We looked at all the cities. They all have their lodging taxes. The county gets a lodging tax. We could have went to all the cities and said, hey, let's all pool our money. Let's do a joint powers board. Let's share it. But yet, what are you going to do with your money for your city? So what we did was we didn't create a joint powers board. We created a committee. And the committee is 3 people appointed by the commission and every president or their representative for every lodging tax board. So we gave everybody a voice in where the county is spending that money for the benefit of all of Lincoln County. So those things that promote us as a whole, the county pays for, and you get to retain your money for what promotes you and your activities. That's good governance.
I have a question on the EMS deal. You mentioned, was it a public meeting that you mentioned? Or was it?
Correct. We have public hearing and a vote next week on the 19th.
Okay, that's what I was gonna.
It'll be after 1 o'clock. Yes, sir. After 1 o'clock, right after lunch. Absolutely. Love to have you there. We need to hear what the voices are. Because it's a tough decision and they're really thinking hard about it. Sure.
If you don't mind answering. Is there anything pressing that the county's aware of that's gonna have some impact? That may not be brought up in like an impact study or whatever. That would have impact to our community, that we need to be maybe prepared for, but not where it's not an industrial site or something like that.
Sure. I think the biggest thing is we need to get through the summer. The fire dangers in this summer. When I was up at Alpine, there, of course, during a ban of fireworks sales in the city, we have 2 permits outside. Idaho comes over and gets fireworks. Imagine that up there. But we told them that we would look at any future permits and requests to make sure that we could support their ordinance and make sure they're safe. We are working with the Grays River Coalition. We're going to be meeting with the state forester and doing a day up the Grays River. The damage, fallen timber and all that's up the Grays River is a concern. So we're going to put eyes on it and see what we can do to help them there. The things we're doing here, Adam Calkins with the Forest Service, he's putting out timber bits. That's the best thing we can do for fire mitigation, is get all that dead wood out, get some of those dead trees out of there that are still standing. So he's looking at letting 2 bids, I believe, over the next 60 days. But we're watching it closely. The county fire marshal is looking at the soil moisture. That's the big indicator for us. Once the soil moisture hits a certain part, then we start talking about our fire bans from the commission. But that's our biggest #1 thing for this summer at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make one comment. One thing that's coming up and we've been working on for quite a while now is the resource management and for the Bridger Teton National Forest. That is a huge thing. We've been working on it, Steve and I, as cooperating agencies for a long time. We've got the draft about done. It's been a little brutal, and but this resource management plan will dictate what type of activities we can do on Bridger Teton National Forest. It affects timber, like he's talking, it affects fire, it affects grazing, affects recreation. It's huge. We need input when that draft comes out. I want. Because I don't want to make all the decisions with Steve.
And, Mr. Grady, thank you, former counselor. Appreciate you pointing that out because my biggest role is NEPA, National Environmental Protection Rules. I work with BLM on the Rock Springs RMP. We're in the middle of that. On the Forest Service, we are doing the forest plan for the Bridger Teton. We are, I will tell you that Teton County and Sublette are conservation based. And we understand that and respect that. We're a multi-use forest. Our part of the Bridger Teton is a part of us. That means we want access. We want trails. We want OBR. We want timber sales. I just finished up, I write letters regularly to the feds on behalf of the commission. And they're going to talk about coming out with a forest revision plan public here in the next 6 months. And that's the time that you'll get a chance to have a say so. We've been what we call pre-decision as a cooperative agency. Counties get that right with every federal agency. Some federal agencies kind of forget that. So my job is to remind them, no, we get to be at the table. We get to talk before you make a decision. But BLM forest timber sales is a big one. The multi-use. I just did the wild and scenic list. Commissioner's perspective on that is zero. No more wild. We're not putting any more creeks, any more rivers. We're not locking people out access to them. Period. You're not going to be able to say this is a wild and scenic, or this is an ACE, or this is a wilderness study, and nobody gets to use it. That's the commissioner's perspective. Not going to happen. So, but unfortunately, there's a little caveat. They like to say, oh, we're not going to call it wild and scenic, but we're going to manage it like it's wild and scenic. Okay, I took English. What's the difference? If you're managing it like it, I still lose access. So this commission has absolutely got me fighting hard to make sure. The other thing that we're a participant to, along with your conservation district here in Southland County, is CLG, the Coalition of Local Governments. That's 4 counties, conservation districts. They pay a very high priced lawyer that does nothing but look at the Federal Register and look for those opportunities to make sure the feds aren't here telling us or locking down what we can and can't do on public land. So, but yeah, the forest one is a big one right now. Yes, sir.
The town has a concern about our school board. And we were kind of talking about this on Monday. What our concern is there's three high schools in our district, our school district. And Cokeville doesn't feel like, in general, in most conversations, we have equal representation. What can we do with the county commissioners to either remove those at-large bids and redistrict to where Cokeville really gets representation at all times? I mean, we are one of the 3 schools, and most of the time we're not able to fill a seat to even have a voice. So what can we do there?
I think, first of all, it starts with, you got to get the public up to those school board meetings. I mean, obviously, we have no jurisdiction over the school board as a special district. However, that doesn't mean we as, the commission themselves and myself can't get down to the legislature. That's our power. So when we work with the Wyoming County Commissioner Association, and we work with the Wyoming Association of Municipalities, that's where we get our voices heard to these legislators and say, you've got to do something. If you listen to Senator Troy McEwen out of Gillette, this whole thing about cutting property tax was about schools. And he said, Matt Fakes and Lander at a W68 function. It's about schools. I said, if it's about schools, then why are you getting everybody in the mix? Why don't you focus on the problem? Well, constitutionally, states got to pay for schools. Well, wait a minute. Are they paying for schools? Last time I checked, that's on our property tax. We're paying for the schools. The state's sitting on over $140 billion between 3 accounts. If you count the game and fish, right? That's why we're getting that $27 million passover along 189. That's being paid cash because they have such a big endowment. $34 billion in reserves. Mineral royalty grants, It's another 40+ billion. When's the state gonna give it back to us? If you've ever listened to Commissioner Conley, he'll tell you, we're all the king's men, right? You guys are a separate entity, all unto yourself. You get to make laws. Commissioners can't make laws. We don't make laws. We follow statute, right? So when it comes down to us, we have to collect the taxes and we give Cheyenne their piece of it. Why do we have to go to either cities or counties through WAM or WCCA and beg for their money to come out? The issue is with you legislators. You guys have a great representative in Kay Erickson. We got Senator Dockstader. That man drives so many miles. I don't know how he does it. He lives on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Try to give that guy a real meal and he wants his peanut butter and jelly because his wife made it. They get it, right? There's a lot of love. It keeps him going. Those two are some of the hardest fighters for us. And understanding that how's the state making sure they're taking care of us. I think we have to change how we look at it, right? They got the 8%. The school district's got 8%. On that 8% last year, remember the teachers were supposed to get a raise. Legislature gave them money. Teachers didn't get raises, did they? Not in all districts, right? Right, but Kemper did. Kemper did not. Do you know why? Because they were already over the minimum threshold. The legislature took the money and put it to the base. So if the school district was below the base, then they brought them up. And so you had this disparaging across school districts. And my wife, by the way, is a teacher of 38 years, so I have a special heart for schools. But this year, they said, we're going to give 8% and it has to go to teachers. This year, it's going to the teachers. They said, we're not putting it to the base and playing that game anymore. But fully funding schools is a legislative, constitutionally driven, and they've got to solve that problem. And that's going to take some time. They've got to do it.
Well, the reason I bring that question up is it was stated to us that we needed to go through our county commissioners to get that district. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what we were told.
Yeah.
Right in the meeting.
Yeah, we don't have any say-so on that at all. I can't tell a school district how to operate any more than I can come in and tell.
Well,
See,
you're supposedly you have the key of how we can redistrict.
Oh, school district. Yes, if your board comes and petitions, the commission, yes, they get a say-so in what the districts are. Yes. But that's got to be a petition from your school board, or you can do a public petition. Constitution allows you to do that as well.
So we can do a public.
Sure. It's any organization of government, right? Now, there are different rates of how many you need to sign that. We'd have to go into statute because I don't, as much as I know, haven't read all the statutes on this. Title 18 is mine, Title 15 is yours, you know. But yeah, you could look at redistricting. You could do it. If the school board doesn't want to petition commissioners, you're absolutely right. You could do a petition and then ask the commissioners to do it. And they're going to base it on 3 factors: population, topography, and social economic. It isn't about equal 5,000 people here, 5,000 people in each district. It's about what works functionally too, with the social economic and the topography. But yeah, you could do a petition at any time on any issue to the commission.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you, and certainly call us. I'll be glad to go through the statutes with you and help get that started.
Cameron, yeah.
Always a resource.
Hey, can I make a correction? Dave Erickson and Dan Dockstead are not our representatives.
Oh, okay, that's come this far.
No, Scott Heiner and Laura Pearson
Yeah.
are our.
Scott.
I didn't know those boundaries, so
Yeah.
that explains why they're coming here to talk, guys. I appreciate that thing. Usually I invite all of them, put it out there. But I can guarantee you that Dan does work very hard for Lincoln County as a whole. He doesn't just stay in his district. So.
No, I've had a few conversations with him. He's doing some help for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Drive safe.
Of course. We'll move on to the rodeo club, Justin McKinnon.
Mr. Mayor and Town Council and, this is, Whitehead. Thank you for your service. I am the new rodeo president for Cokeville Stock and Saddle. And we're approaching the city for donation towards our events. We're gonna have a youth rodeo and we're gonna have an open rodeo. The youth rodeo is gonna be on Thursday. The open rodeo is gonna be on Friday. One of our goals this year is trying to raise enough money to help the young kids out. We've been taking money away from the kids, their purse. And I just don't think that's right that we can do that, that we were doing that or have been doing that. So it is our goal this year to try to raise enough money to make it 100% payback. We are looking at some other avenues as well to try to raise some more money for this, for our events. And we've written up a service contract that Mrs. Lewis went and asked us to do. If you guys want a copy of it, I have a copy of it for you.
Sure, please.
Thanks. And what are the dates it says there?
Friday and Saturday. Friday, Thursday.
Yeah, you said Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, what do you meant?
Friday, Saturday.
You have the actual date, right?
24th, 25th, July. Anyway, I don't know how much the mayor or the town can give us this year. That's kind of where we're gonna try to apply that is to the both events. And just thank you for the support that you've given us in the past. We want to keep this going. That's we want to keep the tradition going. And also, by doing this, you know, we're hoping that we can invite more people to come in, participate.
Got a question for you. So is there anything going on with the rope and ride at all? Or is that totally gone?
It's kind of short notice. We're trying to get geared up for the rodeos, the two rodeos. We're not exactly sure yet if that's gonna happen or not.
Okay, if it is, are you gonna be connected as one? Yes, one single group.
Nope, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Justin.
Okay, thank you.
I'm with you.
I'm fine.
Some of that money at some point. We have another budget meeting set. There's one. Oh, for this year already?
Yeah.
Okay, I just mean next year. Sorry.
We have allocated 2,500.
Of course, those funds come from tourism. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so one of the things I don't look at the tourism board is that funds primarily go to promotion. So you bring people in, they're eat the restaurant, they're staying overnight, things like that, rather than buying a new trail or something, infrastructure. I mean, that's, you have a big budget to do that. If you have a small budget, it's through the desires that goes towards promotion. So maybe you can speak to that, marketing plan of promotion.
Okay, some of the plans that we're gonna use a couple of radio stations to promote our events. We're gonna get flyers out earlier and try to get them out throughout the country. So that's another thing that we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to use social media as well to try to invite people. Some of the people that we've been speaking with get sponsorship so far is we've approached them and we said, thank you for the sponsorship, but come and join us. Come see what we're putting on. Come be a part of it. We just don't want money. We want you to come be a part of it. So that's another thing that we're trying to do is, and then another thing that we discussed is right before our rodeo, send out like a postcard or something like that to the sponsors and say it again, please come join us. So, you know, and just today I picked up 10 new sponsors that we haven't had. So that's 10 new people or families that's been invited and will be invited again.
And that, those reminders is a good idea. That's good.
So Charles, I have a question. So what you were saying, so they should be promoting like this here, right? Or other things as well with their.
So, the idea is if the money comes in, because the money's coming from a lodging tax. And so it should be a self-sustaining process, meaning that, you know, we get more nights where people are staying there or other economic benefits like eating at the restaurant or.
That's what I'm saying. Would the rodeo clubs kind of advertising that with that?
But that's.
That's the question.
Having sponsors. Like,
Yeah.
That's usually. I shared with you an example of what the county asks for. And basically, you know, what's your overall budget and what percentage, what's the amount that we go to promotion specific?
Okay.
It just gives us more transparency in how the funds are being spent.
And so on that with like we got kind of a small little motel or hotel up there. And we were trying to get rooms, reserve rooms, and they're booked up, you know, and so in the future, you know, we're gonna try to maybe get some of them rooms ahead of time, you know. Share them out with some of the other people.
The Temple Riders gets theirs a year in advance. So FYI.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's also like our kind of like the Airbnbs and other businesses that do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if this level, I'll just kind of share this with you. At the county level, we're probably gonna, because we have really limited funds, probably reduce the amount of grants almost to zero. To say those monies should go to promotion it, so you have long-term year-round impact rather than just a week before. Because you can't refresh that fund with such short-lived events. So anyway, it's just a thought. Because we find, you know, one group is underfunded with the county, so they go up the other group. It's also underfunded. They're just kind of passing really limited funds around. And even the town, we don't have a lot of budget that goes into these categories. So it's a challenge.
There's already, just so you're aware, the current budget that we're working on, during past, there's already some adjustment. I know we haven't got everything all squared away just yet, but mistakes that's insurance. That's beside the point of what we're doing here. I want to mention it.
And can we get that? I know that this isn't the place, but can we get that pretty soon because
I have it in the truck.
okay, because we're ready to move forward and we got money coming in and.
Understand that we need to get the bank account. There's some other stuff we gotta sort out. I gotta have a discussion. Right now. The council chooses to entertain a motion to donate to the club. Whatever that amount would be that they entertained a motion. we would need an invoice. I don't know, so that we can actually pay the check out.
Before your final budget.
No,
That's it.
before we issue a check, we have to have an invoice.
It was in this.
So what we're saying, so the budget that you're getting it from, we'd already passed last year. So we will, that, the one that, I think that's where I get confused on it too, but. So the money's already there, we'll just have to make a decision on how much, but. It has already been passed, this is what I'm saying, the money's there.
So if we invoice you for 10,000.
No,
What we can do,
You
So we passed this last year. It's established, you know, the new budget year starts July 1st. So we're not making, suggesting revising this and on this year's budget.
Because this year, unless the council feels like we need to, reallocate those somewhere. The council decision. It's the council's decision.
but it has to be allocated to tourism.
If we were to take some money, there's, so basically there's a few categories to use that money. And you have to have we're gonna have a rereading of our budget anyway. Have to include what we really move those monies to.
So the question is, my question is, it doesn't have to be, we could do this in a week instead. Correct?
You can make the motion in the meantime. He's making a request today.
yeah. Requested.
I know, but we can give the request and have some time to look at what we might need, besides just.
And it's the council's decision then to.
You see what I'm asking?
Yeah, I think we prefer to wait.
I would prefer to wait till June.
Because we can still provide the funds in.
We can still provide the funds, it's an administration, but it gives us time to,
No, they just invoice us for the,
They just invoice us for the.
it's not really the father.
Well,
I'm proud of this discussion against this.
Louise, you have a question?
Has always been the biggest event in our community for the whole year. Our rodeos are a big part of that. And I mean, I can't think of another weekend throughout the whole year that brings more people to our community and more possibilities for revenue. Because, I mean, it's bigger than homecoming, it's bigger than the 4th of July or any other holidays, really. It is our celebration and it's huge for our community. So if our rodeo club isn't able to get funds that we need, then what happens? Right, and we could possibly lose or greatly decrease one of our greatest possibilities for revenue in our small community. Because our only possibilities otherwise for revenue are our motel, the gas station, and our restaurant. So I would just, I just hope that you guys consider that. We try to keep this something that stays big and stays important for our community and it remains something that people come home for. I mean, I understand that not everyone that comes home for Pioneer Day weekend comes for the rodeos. I know that there are other festivities that go on, but there's also a good reason why people come to class reunions for that weekend. And family vacations for people that come home and enjoy home in Cokeville. And our rodeos and that atmosphere is a very big part of that.
One other guys.
You guys get anything from the food trucks you bring in? Or they just come and get to do that?
That's the only thing the city can receive on their, then their fees, the business fees, the rest of the funding went to the show.
I think it was, I think you were clarified. That's that for down or
Anybody, the rodeo club, or anybody, they bring in those food trucks, they all bring them. They pay a fee to bring the truck here.
So I can answer for in the past, for in the rodeo club, I don't know what they're gonna do in the future. The rodeo club is back. Also, a day, basically a day, day. Business. Next to nothing. In that regard, did it help the rodeo club out a little bit? Yes. Did it help the town out a little bit? Very, very, very minute. As far as that.
One other thing, in our packets that we're sending out for our sponsors. It says, it says very, very much and repeatedly, we're trying to help the town of Cokeville. We're trying to, keep this going to keep our heritage going, and we're trying to keep it going to bring people into Cokeville. And Becca has been working on that. She's done a very good job for her first time. And she spent a lot of time on it, and she talks a lot about Cokeville and the beauty of it. And we're trying to ask for sponsorship, but on the same time, we're trying to get people to come to Cokeville. I told several people today, you know, we just don't have the rodeos. We have a parade, you know, and we have a meal and stuff like that. So everybody I've talked to, I said, come be a part of it. So that's part of my pitch when I'm talking to them people. And then we email them a packet, a sponsor packet, and they can choose what level they want to be at. And so we're trying to promote Cokeville a whole bunch. And but it takes a lot of money to put this on, and a lot of time. That's one thing that we don't want to let down is our kids. We want them kids to be able to cash in, you know, and it's not just our kids in the community, it's kids from a whole lot of other communities. And when they're coming in, they're stopping the Flying J, or they're stopping at the Buckle, or they're spending money there. And you know, possibly even staying overnight. So we're trying to help promote Cokeville and the town, everything in it.
I want to add a little bit. I too am a big fan of the 24th of July celebration. Well, it's been a big part of my life. I love rodeo. Heard from two councilmen whether they want to wait. The money is there, we've got it budgeted. And if $2,500 is gonna make it or break us, I think we ought to get it, you know, I make a motion to give them their 25. With the things we want in return is paperwork for the money spent.
Can I ask for kind of specification afterwards or before? Where it's gonna be applied or afterwards?
All we need is where the money is spent. That's just to take care of our, as far as the audit.
Okay.
My request is that it's tied to promotion. We have budget in different areas.
Further discussion?
So do we need to amend that motion so that it's?
They didn't make a motion, made a request.
It was just request.
Favor of the. Looking for favor.
With conditions on.
We'll need an invoice. Okay. The condition that. Then requested those, your second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Just so I'm aware, the conditions that you, is, you know, having an announcement at the time of the seats. Thank you.
The rereading of the 25-26 budget is not here. Then we have some other outstanding things to take care of, didn't get finalized yet. Apologize, we don't remove it right there. You'll get to that.
So we make a motion to table
Yeah, you can. Listen back to that second, that's three, so all in favor.
it.
Second reading of the 26-27 budget. Hopefully I can get the full up again. All right, so. Currently, our general budget, this is the second reading. There's still some adjustments that we need to make. We haven't got final numbers from the state yet. But we're getting close on those. I'm not on this.
Okay.
Currently the general budget. Total is $788,788. The self-sustaining budgets, the water fund is currently at $160,335. And the sewer fund is at $149,885. A total of $975,332. Made the public aware last month. I will remind them this month. Our water budget prior to this reading had a shortfall of $30,000. There is very likely gonna have to be some adjustments made to our water bills. They'll cover that shortfall. Right now, it's looking like we're gonna have to adjust them about $15. Hey, we're looking, we're still looking, we're gonna try and keep that as small as possible. But, it's looking like that, and I want the public to be aware where we're at. Just so everybody's aware, there hasn't been a single adjustment to the water bill since before 2020. In fact, and inflation has really hit us hard. We've got about on average 18 to 20% inflation that we're trying to deal with in the cost of our parts and materials. that we have to be able to maintain our system. And it's really hitting us in the water, so we have to make some adjustments to cover that gap.
Motion by
Is it on the second or the third?
$75, $332.
Motion by Wayne to approve the budget of $975,332. Seconded by Teresa. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. We move on to resolutions and ordinances. We have a third reading for a zoning change for Joe Dayton. The 2603. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I have a motion to approve, ordinance 2603.
Do I have a second? Normally I would call for further discussion, but since this is the third reading, I'm requesting that somebody volunteer to read this in its entirety. It's long. You should have it in the packet. I apologize to the public, it's just gonna get really boring for about 5 minutes.
Okay, there it is. What is that on right side?
Number 26-03, an ordinance amending, sorry. As ordinance amending the zoning map of the town of, is that the rest of them? Yeah. An ordinance amending the zoning map of the town of Cokeville, Wyoming to change the zoning classification of certain property owned by DA Properties LLC. Whereas the town of Cokeville has received a request from DA Properties LLC to rezone property located within the corporate limits of the town, and whereas the property is more particularly described in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference consisting of Boyer subdivision as surveyed by Surveyor Sherbold Limited and recorded in the office of the clerk of Lincoln County, Wyoming, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Commission of the town of Cokeville has reviewed the proposed zoning change and has recommended approval, and whereas the governing body finds that the proposed zoning change is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and promotes the health, safety, and welfare of the community, now therefore be it ordained by the governing body of the town of Cokeville, Wyoming, Section 1. The zoning classification of the property described in Exhibit A is thereby changed from Agricultural District A to High Density Residential District R3. Section 2. The official zoning map of the town of Cokeville shall be amended to reflect the zoning change set forth in Section 1. Section 3. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption, approval, and publication as required by law. Passed, approved, and adopted this. Yep. Okay, gotcha, white day of 2026. Attest town clerk mayor. Exhibit A, excuse me, legal description. Lot 2 of the Boyer subdivision in town of Cokeville, County of Lincoln, State of Wyoming, as described on the official plat thereof, filed with instrument number 497083 of the records of Lincoln County Clerk. Also, that part of tract 90 of T24N R11W partly within the 119W, partly, thank you, within the incorporated limits of the town of Cokeville, Lincoln County, Wyoming, being part of that tract of record in the office of the clerk of Lincoln County in book 4 PR on page 115, described as follows. That part of tract 90 of T24N R119W and in the town of Cokeville, Lincoln County, Wyoming, described as follows. Commencing at a point on the north line of said tract 90 N 89 degrees 13 W 2313 13 feet from corner 1 of said tract 90, where found a 2-inch galvanized steel pipe 28 inches long, BLM type, with brass cap inscribed Paul N. Sherbill, RLS 164 Big Piney, Wyoming, T24N R119W, TR8 1975, 2S24 14. Thence S00 degrees 40 west, 33.95 feet. Thence S89 degrees 13 east, 130.22 feet to the corner of beginning. Thence S or south, 00 degrees 40 west, 141.5 feet more or less to the northeast corner of that tract of land of record in said office book 121 PR on page 115. No, I almost lost my place. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Thence continuing south 00 degrees 40 west, 120.00 feet along the east line of said tract to a corner. Thence continuing south 00 degrees 40 west, 823.83 feet to a corner. Thence continuing north 89 degrees 20 west, 634 period 66 feet to a corner on the east line of that tract of land of record in the said office in book 19 PR on page 251. Thence S01 degrees 20 east, 213.75 feet along the east line of said tract to a corner. Thence south 88 degrees 19 east, 441.15.22 feet to the southwest corner of that tract of land of record in said office in book 88 PR on page 65. Thence north 00 degrees 09 west, 160.00 feet along the west line of said tract to a 1-inch steel reinforcing rod. Thence north 89 degrees 51 east, 537.28 feet along the north line of said tract and the north line of that tract of land of record in the said office in book 88 PR on page 63 to a 1-inch steel reinforced rod. Thence north 09 degrees 56 west, 37.00 feet to the northwest corner of that tract of land of record in said office in book 121 PR on page 474. Thence continuing north 09 degrees 56 west, 56.54 feet to a corner. Thence continuing north 09 degrees 56 west, 138.22 feet to a corner. Thence north 10 degrees 14 west, 568.20 feet to southwest of that tract of land of record in the said office in book 98 PR on page 559. Thence north 11 degrees 40 west, 3655.5 feet along the west line of said tract to a corner. Thence north 89 degrees 13 west, 120.6 to the point of beginning, accepting therefrom the land contained in the corporate warranty deed recorded in book 632 PR on page 1501 of the records of the Lincoln County Clerk, encompassing an area of 6.25 acres more or less. Readings, what are we on? We're on the third reading, are we? Third reading, Town of Cokeville by Colby Peck Mayor. Peck. Is that it? The rest you call pictures, right?
We have a motion on the table, we have a second, we had the final full reading in full. Do you have any further discussion?
What do you mean, the next? My only concern is it says VA, it's actually B, it's Bravo instead of Delta at the very top. It's I don't really know if it's that. Thank you guys for doing that.
Where is that? Oh, right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll amend the motion to include the change in VA on properties.
Motion with amendment, we need to. There, wrong with you. Typo.
Right.
With that being said, no further discussion on this ordinance. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. We have before us third reading camping ordinance 2602. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to discuss.
Make a motion to discuss.
And
Second. Second. Second by Charles. We have a motion to discuss. That being said, I'll call for immediate vote on the motion to discuss. All in favor of the motion to discuss? Aye. Carries, the item is open for discussion.
all right. Let me start. So we do have a conflict on the town park, the law, the ordinance we have right now. There is a curfew on the park. Yet it's allowed, it allows overnight camping, so you can't really curfew the camping. So. I just need to make sure that we understand that. Deal with all thing now, we're all agreeing. I guess what I'm gonna say is I suggest that we just allow no camping in any of the town parks. Issue. Which I did bring in a new updated version.
That's the second one.
That's the second version, which just basically just removes it totally. The original version we were looking at was to remove it from just the town part and not including the Legion. There was a bunch of concern and people were able to talk about it. I just think removing it in general might be the best thing. So open to discussions or anyone.
That means no camping at the Legion, that what that is, there's no parking.
You know, but the past the volleyball teams camped over there. We've had all this.
So, hold on.
I think you got that's camping.
One second. So part of it, when we read this, it'll be more understood. There is, we have a right as a council to make specific requests and have a town, there is a town permit often that's in the ordinance that would allow camping, but you'd have to come to the town and explain what you're doing. So like Boy Scout, let's say Boy Scouts of America want to go up there and camp. We're not gonna tell them no, they just have to come and tell us what's going on. And then we can offer a permit. But as far as just going up without talking to anybody, it would not be allowed. Any other discussion? We want to open for public as well?
Council wants to do, I'm sitting here waiting for direction. You guys are discussing what we're putting on this ordinance, or what you want to take out. Or is it what it is about. I need to. First of all, with park concerns. Town of Cokeville have that park.
That's right.
There's a. What you should railroad allows. And what town of Cokeville allows. So. This whole thing's been thrown eyesight. I have no problem. Anybody come in here late in the evening with their motor and stuff and park by the park. Camp overnight, days and say, I just have no problem with that. If there's other individuals that do, for safety purposes. Nowadays, we don't have to worry about it at all. Assessment.
So one comment I'll make is that I understand that a lot of that land is but we're given the rights to govern. Even though it is their land, they still allow us to govern. So I don't think there is a conflict there. We don't have a written agreement.
It's a participation lease.
So that we don't have a right to tell, we give a curfew on it or either.
That's it.
All or none.
With what I just heard, brought to you guys about the bringing in more tourism. If there is somebody that wants to camp overnight. Now you're kind of saying they can't.
Permit.
If we try to be.
Like your temporary.
Permit.
So how?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the other thing is we also have a section that talks about special events and emergencies. And so they would be waived during special events and emergencies. So whatever the mayor determines. So there are things built into it for the concerns of special situations. Whether it's. Yeah, it is built into it. We probably really just need to read it to you guys so you know what it is. So that you can have your input.
Either trying to frame it. This ordinance. Started out. Really simple, and it kind of got blown up and we got pulled back and then it kind of got changed again and. We've been working on this for months and I still don't think we have it right. I have a little bit of heartburn. On how it's going. I realize that there's been some pretty healthy effort been put into it. One of the heartburns I have is we had one that we were going through last month and now we got one what we picked for us just minutes before the meeting. That's different ordinance and I don't know what changes have been made in it. I feel like maybe it would be wise of this council to make a decision not to pass this and to restart it. But that being said, I will entertain the motion to put before the table by the council.
town that are people that are here that are interested.
Overly, go ahead.
Well, if you got a new written up ordinance, it can't be started on the second reading, you gotta start all over.
It's not, it's not.
If you
new.
change the ordinance, you gotta start over. If you change what you've been originally voted on, you've got to start again. If it's a big change other than a question mark or something like that, if you change language, you gotta start back to table one.
We're allowed to do minor edits. And that's what I don't know, is I haven't been able to, personally, I haven't been able to review through these things to see what the edits are.
Between the two, because this one just basically tells you no parking versus the one we talked about with the 3 night parking up at the Legion ground. That's the only difference.
Ellis?
I want to know what is the concern of camping? We've been on a lot of road trips throughout the US. I know my family, we've had to pull over at parks and camp, and we didn't have to worry about getting permits, or we didn't have to worry about anything like that. What's considered an emergency, you know, I mean, it's never been a huge issue. Someone's coming through town, they stop at the park, who gives the 2 cents, what's going on, like. The curfew isn't enforced, you got kids running around with curfew, so what's the big deal with trying to, the conflict between the curfew and camping, like, it's really not a big deal. So I wanna know, you know, it's not Wayne's apparently, whose problem is it and what's the issue with the camping?
Ignore that.
I wanted to say a little bit. Eric and I started this, because there were campers and stuff in certain places in town that were there for 3 or 4 months, and there were people in the community that were concerned with that. And it was 2 paragraphs, it was just simple, something that went along with the curfew. And by the way, Eric and Davis are really good about watching the curfew. But, and I walk at night, and it's nice to know that the kids are there, but that they're going home on time. And so, sometimes I think, no offense, Brad, but I think we took simple and made it huge. And so now it's totally confusing to everybody. So you're spot on. Thank you.
So are you saying somebody's camped for 3 or 4 months down at the park?
No,
Is that?
it was in town.
It's about property.
Private camp, not private.
Correct.
So it's not just about a park.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah,
But that part hasn't changed or hadn't been discussed. The only changes that were discussed was the park portion between the ones we did.
It's like, they just had a flat tire, they had to wait for a load truck, that takes them to Cokeville. They needed a place that they could safely bed down for the night, so that they can get up the next morning and continue the trip. They need to be welcome so that when they come back through, they follow this instead of their guts and don't want to stop.
Exactly.
So my problem with the camping is that it's at the city parks where all of our little kids play. And I know that Wayne kind of briefly mentioned it, and he is right, like there is danger all over the place. I mean, you go to Walmart and it can be dangerous, right? But I personally told my kids, if you wanna go play at the park, that's fine, but if there's a camper there, then you have to come home, you can't play at the park. It's because it will take 2 seconds for someone, and I'm not saying everyone that uses stop at the park is a creep, but it would take 2 seconds for someone to lure a kid into their camper and take off. And how would we ever do that? I mean, that's just a piece. Well, right, of course, I try to teach my kids that, but are they perfect? I mean, no, they're not gonna. I just feel like that's dangerous, and I don't love it. It works and for, if they break down or they need a place to stay.
I dropped off the gallery argument, so we're gonna address it. We address the council, please.
But I think
The conversation come to this direction.
that's what we got.
I think we also have concerns about increasing revenue. I mean, we have a motel, if people need to stop, if they have a flat tire or anything else, then you're welcome up there. Not to park your camper where all the little kids in town are gonna go play without their parents, because that's what kids do here. Because that's the structure of our community.
Which also, I will point out that the motel had some moving parts.
Yeah, there will be.
Even when that's gonna happen, yeah.
He's still working on it.
He's working on it, but it's not in town limits right now. So it wouldn't be something we thought about.
Did you have find Lisa, my kids go play around town and laugh culture. Find the kids, I see where the bikes are parked. I don't love having. You can show them up if what's going on. You can find options for them. And it needs to be a place that's kind of protected, as we go.
Well, and when word gets around, there's a lot of camping overnight up Plum Creek.
Yeah, we really have two things in attention. You have water side of public safety, and then this other side being welcoming to other people, saying you want to be a tourism or have that be part of the economy, you have to be welcome. You have to have a situation to provide that hospitality. This is kind of tension. Leaving the rooms, there's not a lot of energy around this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so let's say if it is tabled, we have the opportunity to bring it up again next year if there's additional interest. Is that correct?
We cannot take it, it's already been taken.
Okay.
So basically, there's one or two motions. We have a motion to kill, a motion over. Able to further discuss it. That being said, the council isn't in the power to make whatever.
I would better kill it.
I second.
Motion to kill by Teresa, seconded by Wayne. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And it carries. For a matter of information, and this cannot be brought up again until the next calendar year. So. If you feel like you need to bring it up, I would say, let's get it all prepared. It's situated, so it's. I think this is going to be the next time around. All right, we'll move on to public comment, communications. Any public comment we have, I would request that you step to the podium. Just so that everybody can hear what's going on. We want to take a quick recess. We have a motion for recess.
Exactly.
We're glad. One, two.
I've been sitting up here like I'm someone on purpose. Cool. It's like you say.
All you gotta do is just avoid this. You have that, yeah, you have that thing too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's just move it backward,
You move this way.
then you can put it right there.
Yeah, Sharon's Google Plus. I think I did log her out, but
Plug everyone.
oh my gosh, did I? I thought.
We had to, I couldn't even remember the password to the end of it. We had to like reset it. We're good, we're good.
Oh my gosh. All rashes.
Just because I society doesn't have to be interested. That's a they don't understand. Like everybody thinks that. I think the difference on it was. One commented up. Sorry, it's definition. That's how you enforce something. If you want to have, if you want to have a character, then we'll have a same problem we have to do everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The problem with me, I guess it was.
I think that's, I just.
That is the bigger change. But I will. I just said, if I want to do it, it's an extra. Just say, if I do it, it's supposed to be. And everyone's like, oh, we'll play this thing. Like, if you're gonna create it, you might as well do it right the first time. That's my issue. Okay, I'd say.
All in favor of reconvening?
I
Now we're into public comment. Any communication.
I'll be real quick, because I'm getting old and I go to bed. Well,
Well, if I start snoring, you know what?
I was just a little concerned. I'm here at town hall, I've been for 45 years. And, I heard that with Chief Whitehead, retiring, there was some discussion about how a police, department is going to be run. And, I've been part of that police department for 10 years, trying to keep an officer here in town. In working with Teresa and Wayne, several other previous councilmen. My recommendation would be that you keep a local police department here in Cokeville. I think it's critical, and you have two officers. I've seen when we try to do it with one, and Mr. Frederickson, the worst case we've ever had during the bombing, he was in Logan. And here was Brenda and me and Nadine, Dana, trying to handle the situation. And Wayne, we just had an emergency meeting on the watershed out here. It was terrible. It was an absolute disaster for me. And I was given permission by Kathy Davison, which was a police officer, but she was a dispatcher. She said, go down, sit there at the corner, and make sure nobody goes into the school. You can't imagine how many local ranchers come pulling in with their truck with a rifle in the back of the truck, wanting to go in and solve the problem on their own. No police officer. And it took probably half an hour before we could get a police officer in from Kimmer. I could have kissed his feet. I don't want to be in there and deal with locals here. So it's a serious problem. Don't think the county is going to be here to save us, people. They're spread out. This county's huge. I worked the whole south end. I was in Large one day. You're down in Lapao one day, and I'm over here and then Startup. It's huge. You can't be everywhere. And even though we got one police officer here in the county, and we've got a highway patrol person here, the highway patrol is interested in solving domestic crime in town. Sure, Lou Godfrey would want to be doing that, and a good chance that the local sheriff would be gone. So really be considerate about it and look. And we've had some situations, I agree with our police officers. It's kind of hard to find a chief of police to come here. And I really admire Eric coming here. He's done a wonderful job for us. And poor old Jeremy Kirkland was here. He got left alone and he just couldn't handle it. Give up, moved out. He's a good officer. And so don't think it's easy situation just to turn it over to the county and say, you take care of it. Because I tell you, I get scared of some of the people that come into this office, and I'm the only male here. And they're indigent, they're hungry, they're looking for money. And I do not want to be solving that problem anymore. Getting too old, can't fight very well. And so just and they make money for it. I've never seen our local police department really go in the hole. And if you want to see trucks take off up there again, going 50 miles an hour through town, you won't see the county sitting up there too long. So just think it through. Just think it through. Thank you.
Thanks, Moss. What else?
Oh, boy.
I just second Mom's what he said.
Appreciate that, Ben.
It says pass.
Good. We will move on to reports from officer, board and committees. That's during the. Councilman Nate.
We're getting into the warm weather, so we'll be patching up some roads here soon. If you guys have specific, anyone in the community who wants to give feedback on a road or something, please go ahead and do so. We'd love to make sure we're taking care of what we can. We do have a limited budget. I did notice that we got some material. We just barely got some material, so we should be getting on that right away. We are having a lot nicer weather to do this, so hopefully this month we can start working on it.
So I've had a lot of people ask me, what is it gonna be the town side of the 24th of July celebration? And it's been tough to watch it decline, but the last 2 years that we had, vendors at the park, they didn't make enough money to come back, and so that's why they wouldn't. And so, but the parade's good, but I'm willing, you know, to listen. I need some good advice. And then, we're trying to put together the 250-year celebration for the 4th of July. And I need help. I can't do it myself. And, so anybody who's willing to sit down and form a committee and help me with that. There have been a few really good ideas, but unfortunately, those people don't live here. They live in Kemper or they live in Star Valley. And so, you know, I have them say, Teresa, this is what we do, and this is what we do, but I can't do it by myself. And so, I need your help and I need your ideas and I do listen. So that's my thing about Pioneer Days.
Can I go ahead?
Your turn.
Is this on? Okay. I'll turn it on. Okay, Brady joked and said that I have to set a 10-minute timer and be done. So last time I went too long. So this portion is just for approval. They have already printed out this stuff for it, so here it is. This for the public's information again was a grant that we got from the state of Wyoming for America 250. No funds are coming from the town, no match was required. Of course, we will have to upkeep it in the future years, but the artist was selected by Bureau Selection Committee, and we've been through several renderings, and this is the based off of our last public meeting we had here was what we landed on. So it's kind of in chronological order with our Shoshone Indigenous people, Mountain Man, I can't remember, I should know, who is that again? Yeah, there we go, Jim Fisher. And then Oregon Trail, so not hand carts, but covered wagons. Then we have our train, Old Town, Cokeville, Minerva Tykert, because she's our most famous person. And it was fitting for this situation. Added in a Hereford, does that?
Yeah.
Okay, that was requested last time, as well as sheep and kids. The old red barn, just to be clear, I gave that to them for a reference photo and said, don't put it in there. I don't want people thinking that it was just me trying to put my family's barn in there, but that's what they did. There she is. So anyway, the foliage was added in later. I did ask about the coloring. It might be stylistic, but they said as they do the stencils, they can add a little bit more color to the like Indian paintbrush isn't necessarily that color, but it does add some more interest. So this is what that is. And it looks like this on the wall. And I think it's going to be really nice and for a downtown area. Go ahead.
I got one problem.
Oh, no.
Where's the cowboy?
You ought to have a horse tied up in front of that wall.
You know.
Got the cranes.
We do have cranes. He didn't make the cut. Cowboy didn't make the cut. No, right there. There he is.
There's
A sheep boy.
over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell the childs that. So sorry we missed it. We tried real hard to get it in there.
You can't put
We
everything.
can't put everything in there. And then this is going to be on the firehouse wall, just so you can see it for reference right there. With different images, this will be hand painted and I think will look really nice. This is the old school, just in case the first school, in case people were wondering, church, Haggerty Motel, and another store down there. This is from the vantage point of Rocky Peak looking on to Big Hill. So if the council would like to approve this, we'll do that.
I move that we approve it.
Did I say motion?
Oh, it's hitting him in the feels. That's what we wanted.
Motion by Teresa, second by Charles. Any further discussion?
Great job.
I would like to point out that
Oh.
the beautification committee put in countless hours working with artists to make sure that these renderings try to represent Cokeville as best they can. And I say thank you for that.
Thank you. It's been good. Just for your information, the mural timeline installation.
We got 'em.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All in favor?
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, so installation begins on May 14th, this Thursday. I did let them know about the meeting that I believe is still happening at 6, just so they're not surprised by people coming. Told them to work on the big wall first and then, but they're gonna work early and the weather's nice and we really lucked out. So they said before May 19th completion, but by May 19th. And then June 2nd, we're going to display the elementary artwork that they did as part of the grant requirements. We're gonna put it in the city hall where people can vote and look at them, and we're gonna try and make postcards out of the winners of those that will be available. June 3rd is a community paint night, also a requirement of the grant. The Katea Kalstrom Archie, I think is how you say her last name now, is gonna come and do that, as well as a little trivia night for the community. So if you don't want to paint, you can come and hang out. And then the ribbon cutting and dedication ceremony, we still need to talk about. We probably need to get with the rodeo club if we do the 24th. As it's been talked about, that's our most popular date and I think would be the most successful for a ribbon cutting event. But we do need to talk about the 4th or possibly even homecoming, but we will come back with that unless you have some opinions right now that you would like to share on that.
I think.
What, 24th? And just, you'll have the majority of people will be downtown and coordinate some way with the parade.
Maybe just do it after the parade.
Yeah. There, and
where
that's,
Everybody's already on the street.
So, but you'll be busy, Justin. Would that work for you? Have to. I mean, when Colby was doing the rodeo, we never saw him. He was always over there. But that'll be beneficial. That'll be something to maybe put in your info for people. That the Cokeville mural thing will. I think it'd be cool.
we don't have details on what would happen. We don't want to take away from the rodeo.
Just be a part of it.
Just be a part. So so we will,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be long or excessive, just, yeah.
I suggest doing it right after the parade. We've already got people
We've
standing
already got
there.
people.
Versus going up to eat and then have to everybody come back. I just think it's easier right after the parade.
And if we just advertise it, I can, if you want me to, I can make a poster and hang them out like I do Easter.
Yeah.
And then you just remind people after the parade, come hang out at the town hall and.
Okay.
Go.
We'll make sure everybody that needs to be involved in this conversation is, just to make
Yeah.
sure we're not stepping on
Just
toes. But yeah, so, yeah, go ahead.
That's a pretty.
Ooh. Yeah, they're bringing in a team of people. Yeah, I guess they have a pretty slick routine that they do. Yeah.
I could speak.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was impressive on their resume. They said 5 to 6 days normally, so it's cool. Okay, this is the part that might take a little bit longer. So for signage, we have a budget of $30,000 from impact fee money. The mayor asked us to work on these street signs and come with a proposal. It was going really well until this morning, until our latest estimate came in, and so we might need to work through this, but what we are proposing is along Main Street. These are, it's through a company in Wisconsin. I did ask Evanston if they would give me who they went through, and they never called me back. And our local person that we were gonna go through fell through. So this was within this last week. I contacted these guys. Their customer service is excellent and has made this process really awesome for me.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I actually, yes, kind of. That's as far maybe as I can. So along Main Street, there are gonna be these more formal signs. We don't have a downtown area where generally these signs are put. So there's 14 street names, stop name signs all along Main Street, clear down to the west side, call it. So they will be a stop sign, street sign combo. I did look at two different styles with the flag mounted. Those ones were just more expensive, so this will be the same cross mount on top. It just doesn't look that way right now, so you can see it, but it'll be cross mounted. And then this will be black as well. I'm not sure why it's not showing up black. We went with a 12-foot pole. At first it was 14 and it was way up there. So we went with a 12-foot. Pretty sure whiteout's requirements are 7 feet from the ground, so that should still work with that. So there'll be 14 of these all along Main Street. And then these will be in the rest of town, white on black on a, what do you call that pole? A breakaway, yes. But all redone and all symmetrical across town. So that's what those will look like with a logo. I'll get to the logo in a minute, but that's the rendering of that. And then here's our wayfinding. I'm really excited about these. So I numbered them so you could tell where they are going to go. The north facing, somewhere between the Red Dog and the four-way, just depending on the requirements for how many feet you need to have it. So, and then I flip-flopped that. North facing, coming from the other way, and south facing, I might have flip-flopped those. Anyway, those are the two on the highway. As you come down from east to west, the first one will be in between, pending approval, I guess. Mayor said that there's a right of way. Sorry, Wayne, you're gonna have a nice pretty sign kind of by your. I told Luke about it too. I said, it's gonna be pretty. So this is showing, well, let's go to 3. This is showing Town Hall, Cokeville High School, then to keep going to the post office, library, Town Park, Rotary Grounds, and the Tri-States. And then once you hit the park, before the park, Sharps and the library, saying to go to the park, go to the Rotary Grounds, and keep going to the Tri-State. Then the west side. Oh yeah, go ahead. I told Luke he could mull around it, he'd be fine. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. So we will talk to you guys though. So then coming from west side, all the arrows are pointing. We needed to make that a different arrow. I just noticed that there was I had to do a lot of editing. We needed it to point to the right. But everything up, and then once you hit the park, there'll be another one again. And then the town hall, we didn't need too much on that one. So then either behind the apartments or closer to the Dayton's house will be that one. saying to keep going to the cemetery in Pine Creek. And then cross to the Highway 232, whoop, that one, cemetery and then Pine Creek. So the feedback I need on this is it okay, these symbols, we talked about, we needed like Lake Alice, Hollow Creek, the ski resort, all of those things was gonna make this thing massive. And so I asked to see what it looks like just for camping, hiking and skiing symbol. Is that okay? We feel like that's okay and covers, and Pine Creek Recreation Area is fine. I am not sure. Yeah. Oh, there we go. So they're just, and I can have them make them bigger. But yeah, I did forget the shooting range. That was one thing we did talk about. So
But you'll put it up.
do you want me to put it on? I can.
Yeah.
It might increase our price a little bit, but I can put it on the one, yep. What about the tri-states? Is that important? We talked about the 3 groups of people that went there, and Teresa's one of them, or Councilman Lewis, Councilwoman Lewis. So
Is the signage still out there for the tri-state?
Yes.
the shape of it, I'm not sure. We were gonna remove it.
It's gone.
It's just the air.
The metal, we put it on the- Yeah. Right. Maybe possibly put out there.
Mayor, I'll tell you one thing, it's kind of quite a hike up there, not too many people made it to this.
I know, one time, I didn't think it was gonna be that.
Yeah, I mean, ate with the herders' dogs to eat things, and so you gotta be a good runner than can. So I don't know how many people have actually been, I've been to several times, scouts, but it. They take a bunch of kids.
Doesn't that have a fence around it too?
Do you have to open gates or anything to get to it? It's
No.
easy access.
There's family goes there every time they're here.
The question is, do we want to advertise it through us? And that's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Keep it on there. Okay. Okay. So the only addition maybe. Okay.
No.
Oh, it'd be on number 9. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. So it'll look more like this one. Yeah, okay. So we're not pointing from the highway. We just say, once they turn on there to go to, okay, I will do
You don't
that.
want to.
I don't.
Probably busy.
It's big.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
I think, but that's kind of for a community thing up there.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who go up there. There's more people that go there than the tri-state. Not that the tri-state's less, I'm just saying.
It's just a shooting range, it's noisy. And you know they're there.
Look bad to put cemeteries not shooting range.
I was gonna say. People would get a kick out of it, that's for sure. It'd be memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, you put signs up, I put a dead end sign up there, they make it take down.
For reals. That's funny. Well. No, it'll look like this one, so it doesn't add anything really different. Their artists did a good job of making it all fit. Oh, on the highway one. Oh, yeah, the highway, Is there a symbol?
Yeah, you can put a rifle.
Okay. Right. Do you want me to see what they can do or, yeah, it would just add a little bit more to these pretty large signs already, but What do you think?
We're gonna be doing any room there, we're trying to make it better, I just think we need to promote it.
okay, I will see, they'll probably have to add, if we don't think a symbol would work.
Well, the symbol would work, but it would.
But it's not with that one.
Hard.
No, because the arrow's pointing, well, I guess it's not.
The whole thing is, you leave pine trees out, that's one of our main.
Yeah.
For the community during winter at least. And possibly in summer if things go.
Did you want me to add more symbols in? Like ATV or anything, or snowmobile or mountain, I don't know, do we wait on that? Okay,
You could
All right.
probably put in here.
Okay. okay,
Yeah, because there are a lot of.
Just put no fire.
no fire and campfire, okay. I will have them just add in the shooting range, I'm not sure what it's gonna do to cost, but. Yeah, no, 2,300 over, and I told you I'm a budgeter and that just, it, over 30,000, I know, I'm a very like. You asked for a frugal person, poor Brady, so. Anyway, so we're not that much over, but it'll add a little bit, so. I'll add those things, and then the issue is we need to get these ordered. End of this week, so you're not gonna be able to see it again, besides, Mayor, you're probably gonna help me proof these, right? Yeah, so you'll be able to see them, but as long as this is mostly good for you guys, then. We can, move along. Okay.
What's the
Oh,
cost, right?
That is the most basic post, 3-inch. Just round. I took off the base caps that looked really nice. That was $5,000 for all of the, and I was like, get rid of those. These signs are large.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The posts aren't outrageous, but they are, I mean, they're more expensive than just your standard aluminum post. So it's not, and you have to have these finials on here because it's hollow. So this is as cheap as I could get them. I mean, I said, oh, take that off. They're not, this was no additional cost. I could take that off though. It might be a couple $100 difference. I'm not sure.
Take one off.
The logo area. I really like it, but
I really like it.
yeah. So, I mean, let me get to the rest of it and maybe we can see where, we could cut a little bit more. This one is the elementary.
I mean, maybe the town can donate something or help.
Yeah, we're just slightly over, but we might have a few more options. So this is the elementary school one. It'll sit like this, but be a 3-way, at the 4-way stop there. So that is all our wayfinding. That is on the main street and the generic stop signs. What drove up our costs from our last estimate was we didn't have the poles in there for all the rest of town. And so I thought we were good. And then when Davis got me the estimate this morning, I was like, oh shoot, it went from like 5,300 to almost 10,000 with that all. So I don't know if you have I told everybody, I'm like, I hope Colby has a connection that could give us cheaper poles and I can give you the itemized.
Give me the item.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think we could maybe cut back on the cost of it. Okay.
So one certainly, like standard, to break one, start to get it, brush out those.
Okay.
Bits.
The ones that are probably gonna be critical are you're gonna be fighting.
Yeah. This also includes additional posts. So they, yeah.
The round, the ones on Main Street. So. Just standard like.
I think they're standard. I don't think they're breakaway. I can ask. Is that what's required? Okay. Right out. Okay. I will, no, actually, she says something about when you run into it, you want it to break, because I asked her about sliding the sleeve over. Sorry, I don't know, something. No, it's smooth wall thickness and extruded aluminum alloy. That's what that says. So,
What?
yeah, this company is. They are pretty high standard
The
for their
nice thing
stuff.
about.
If we put these in, we're gonna do it, I would hope, nice, so. We can maybe talk and fudge numbers a little bit. Like I said, these ones ended up being just a little under 8,000. This whole setup was just under 10,000, and then the wayfinding was 14 something. So these guys were but they're big signs, so.
Actually, where's your, what company you talking with on both?
Signature streets, which the breakaway ones
Whatever you.
are these ones, the nicer ones.
What you-
Yeah, for the wayfinding and the Main Street signs. We can get a better deal. Okay.
Well. Donate.
Yeah, I think we could probably figure, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there's other places you can get.
Yeah.
The breakaway steel from.
Okay.
It's not.
Not that, this is from
We
this,
buy it in bulk lengths.
See.
They're 24 foot long and cut them.
okay, okay, yeah.
You just gotta do some shopping.
I didn't wanna, yeah.
So I have a question. So we did momentarily talk about a memorial,
Yes. we
which would
did.
be Panther Way underneath. You still have Pine Street. It's not doesn't change the address, but it gives a memorial. It would basically be called Panther Way. That was a suggestion, and I just don't know where.
I can see if they could add in, these guys could add in another blade for that. Yeah.
Pretty good supply of community. I would like to get some feedback. So.
This $30,000 coming from Terra Power or something, right? And so if you don't use the full 30,000, can you use that anywhere else? We want to use the full budget, okay.
Yeah,
I mean.
we were hoping to do a north welcome sign from this, but I don't think we're gonna make it.
Yeah, I think the community could.
Just my personal opinion, like, I love it. It's
Okay.
awesome.
Spent a lot of time on this, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
If there is.
The only reason why I brought up cutting. It's the same material, it's just. Opposed to paying them to cut it into 8-foot or 10-foot posts for us, we just take it and cut it ourselves. It's a bandsaw, which I have 12 of them, so. He's been begging to use it.
Come back looking like it.
What do you guys think of the memorial Panther Way? Does that interest anybody or not?
It would probably just be,
You're looking at really two signs, one that starts on Main Street and one on the other end going, And it's.
maybe cost 200 more, but
Sure.
Are you cold? Go sit down there, it's hot over there. I will add it and we'll see.
I'm just gonna borrow a coat.
Yes.
So what do you want me to do?
I think the signs are awesome. I wasn't a big fan of it when it began, just because I don't know, my thing of where everything is, you can't miss the town hall, especially when there's a huge mural on it, like. Where the schools are, et cetera, et cetera. My two concerns, one, Canterbury School and whatnot, but I live on Pine Street, I have my whole life. I don't want,
It doesn't change,
It would
it
be-
doesn't change Pine Street.
I got you, but people would start calling it Pine Street. It don't matter, like, whatever with that. Second thing is, I know if I was on an area where one of these signs were going in my yard, I would hate it. Because then I see it out my front window, see it as I pull in. And so I think it's critical you check with the people.
Right,
Hey, is
right.
this, yeah, it's gonna be pretty for me, but is this gonna bother you? Even though it's in the right of way, or even though it's in, is this gonna bother you that you have to have it forever now in your yard? And I don't have one going in my yard, thank heavens, or else I would probably make a huge issue out of it, cause to me, that would drive me just berserk, but I would make sure you check.
That's fair, yeah. This is the only one going in someone's yard, thankfully. So we will just have to. No, it's that one actually, where am I? Number 3. Yeah, no, that one is a double one. It is on. Not in the front yard to the side of the driveway, which could get mowed over, I guess, but. The problem with this one is there's no public space all along there. But the rest of them are fine. I mean, the backside of the apartments right by the fence where the new development or whatever is going in there, I don't know what's going in there, isn't gonna be a problem. But this would be the only one.
So that would be yours. Only problem I have with it is gonna block my view. When I'm back, you look at that 6-foot man there, he goes halfway up the thing, so he's. The bottom of that sign's at 4 foot. And when I'm backing out, is that gonna be obstruct my vision of cars
Yeah, it
coming down
might.
the road? Or a little kid coming down the sidewalk?
Yeah, it might.
That's my only thought for it.
So our option with this is just to eliminate it because we have. All private properties all along there, so we can eliminate it.
So was it? Not one gonna be by the. Like, free.
Yeah, I thought there was one gonna
I
be,
thought it was-
thought we were gonna try to. put-
No, we don't need anything there because we did the elementary. The only thing is the elementary. Otherwise, that's a whole other sign to just say keep going. The only other one was elementary.
Just bring.
Okay, yeah. Well, it just says that you're not even almost to any of them. Does that make sense? But we can move it. It just seems pointless there to me, so we could just like eliminate it. Because they know to keep going until you hit a sign that says now turn, but keep going for these.
Where's the confirmation sign for line turn? It's not until we're at Wayne's place?
Yeah, but no, elementary, that's the first one. But you don't need a confirmation until you start hitting, according to them, until you start hitting your first turn here. And then you say, keep going for these, but now you want to turn here for these. Because it's not a huge, what is it? Not even half a mile. So
That's why I said,
It's probably not that big a deal if it's further up.
the only difference would be is the turn here at Coke Town Hall, just move the arrow, put straight up, just keep going.
yes,
Eventually,
and the high school. So we don't have, because then I'd have to add in another high school somewhere.
But it could be the small sign.
It could be a small sign, just for the high school.
Well, you could do that for the town hall and the high school.
It's super true. It is true. We can eliminate, this is just the system. We can totally do that. I feel fine about that. If you want to, we just won't have anything pointing to the high school. Okay, do what we did for the elementary. Yep, that's totally fine, and I'll run into the, yeah,
Is everything? Which. We could put a confirmation sign. On the.
so this is the Rodeo Ground one that says to turn there. Yeah. The library and Sharps.
That might cut.
Yeah, so if we just cut that one and. Okay,
Unless there's something prepping.
no, I mean, like everybody said, we use Google Maps. This is a. To the. Well, there's nothing there, there's no signs. I don't.
Walk that. So you'd have to have the distance to where they do. And I think you'd run into the situation where I think they've done a pretty good job. They're not all, but I think they've done a pretty good job of trying to keep those signs on the property lines. And that would be, in my opinion, I think that would where out in the property where it would become maybe a hindrance for the thing that they do. Most people trim to the property line anyway. They're trimming around that 4-inch post. Would probably be that big of a deal.
Right now, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but when you first turn down Main Street, the first 30-mile-an-hour sign is really blocked by a big old tree bush. And you don't really see it until you're like almost to it. So. And that's in the. I guess I don't need a name where it's at, but just take a peek at it and you'll see that the private tree there is already blocking it, really.
Okay, well, I'll eliminate number 3 and we'll troubleshoot if we want something on the, this. Pine, right? It's Pine. This one to say to the high school. I will troubleshoot that and then get back to you on that. Okay, then the last thing, so it'll look like those elementary school ones probably. The last thing I wanted a little bit of feedback on was the logo. I contacted Paul Piper, who gave me his name for doing logos quite a while ago on a Facebook post. He was super great to talk to, and what we need for this is a professional to clean it up. This is AI and it's good, but not what we probably want it to be. What I am suggesting is that we stick with Rocky Peak because it's iconic, it's versatile, it's not marrying us to a certain identity because we have skiing and fishing and hunting and the rodeo, and it's not leaning into one or the other of those. I'll show you a logo system in just a second that it came up with. This is too detailed to put on a sign. This doesn't look quite enough like Rocky Peak, and he would be able to get that streamlined. We also, whatever we do, it has to be vectorized and be in the right files to put on things. So since we already have our color palette, we already have the image that we could possibly use. He was going to give us a little bit of a discount at $1,200 for all of that. I was hoping to use some of the signage budget for that, or request some of the signage budget for that. Obviously, we're a little bit over, but it needs to just be cleaned up. He sent me his portfolio and he does a really good job with what with some other companies. A logo system that we would use would be, oh, keep going. Why is it not going? Sorry. Oh, shoot, I deleted it. Anyway, so let me see if I have it in my uploads really fast. I think I deleted it. Sorry. So you have different, so this is a badge, but then on your website you have the image and it's more spread out. You can use it for merchandise and apparel, which we're hoping to use as a fundraiser in conjunction with the dedication ceremony as we roll all of this out. Just based off of my brother's opinions, they said, yeah, I'd wear a hat with that on it. You could also put underneath if you're trying to, for tourism purposes, if maybe you want someone to fish, you can stick a fish there, you can stick a skier there, and it's very versatile and it looks good. Anyway, but I would need him to help me with that. If we don't have the budget for that, we're gonna have to figure that out for the image. Cause I don't know what would, I mean, the signature streetscapes made it sound like it wasn't too big of a problem, but this company with that signage would probably need a vector file that I don't have and I don't know how to do. So that may be something, and it's a problem because yeah, I mean, it needs cleaned up. It doesn't look quite enough like Rocky Peak and too much detail in the other one.
What about your artist when we asked them to look at the skyline?
She didn't ever get back to me. So I was like,
Cause you could maybe use that, you know.
but that, in my opinion, will just look like this on a sign. Does that like it's not definitive enough, but if that's something that's interesting,
And part of
you,
your cost is changing when you
Yeah, we
get
do.
paint, when you get orange and other colors in there. That's gonna increase your costs. It's not. Okay.
So, that can be up to you guys. What you do with that, and then that's it, I'm done with that. Thank you.
Need approval of the sign,
Oh, yep, we need an approval on the signs.
so we get the process to go forward a little bit.
So I make a motion that we approve the signs that have been presented, the design and all that she presented. I think
You all mentioned. Better.
it's in 30,000. And yeah, purchase some.
Okay, sounds good.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Part of the logo, I'll do.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay, thank you. Do you want this one back in? I can,
No.
you're good, okay. The on the ground.
Thinking, I thought there was something else on my mind, but we need an approval on the spring cleanup day, June 13th. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Another motion.
I'll second it.
Listen by Lee. June 13th, seconded by Teresa. Any further discussion? All in favor?
The ground with wood chips, put them in that day, if that's okay. We'll get help with that, so under the new playground for sand. We're waiting to hear on that still. So right.
You, Brittany, go get your coat. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, honey.
You want me to check it on?
You're finished, Teresa?
I am.
Right?
Sort of water and sewer goes, water, we get that water break. Pretty big ordeal. There was an issue with the sewer plant we got to address. Mike and I talked about it. And let's see. There's a. We got a leak. And we have this out, see what, yeah, let's see it. Other than that, we're in good shape there.
Right. Charles?
Two quick items. So, I spoke with the regional, North Florida representative today. And so we have a concept paper and it's basically saying, if you bring someone into the community, we'll hire someone to work on projects. We can look at one or two positions. They pay about $25,000 a year, plus a $7,000 education stipend or an $18,000 edited service. So those are funds available, 30 to 40 hours a week. Just implementing and working with committees like education. They can work with tourism, anything that relates to community development. One of the things they need is a supervisor, and this would be someone with 3 to 5 hours a week, doing some paperwork, providing some oversight, coordination. They also could be our grant writer force, because they would have time to search and apply, approve the grants. So the next steps are. The end of the month is the application deadline. We would know in August, and then in the fall we would go out and find for advertised. Housing is such an issue nationwide. They really encourage us to use people locally. In the past, we brought people in from the east, and they last about 2 weeks. Like there's no bar, there's no nightlife. We're a boarding town, and so we had a lot of success when we found people who were local. But they would work on. With the town, again, the supervisor is the role that's not compensated, and so we need to find $5,000 to $10,000 a year. The chamber can be a part of that solution, but that remains to be solved. When you put an application and you say, here's the projects, here's what you have to do, it's up to 5 years of just dedicated implementation.
The supervisor can't be so recurring hours.
They can.
Whoa. Trying to die up here. Like that. Or a council member.
They could, some that have, 3 to 5 hours additional per week that they're not doing other things.
I'm just making clarification.
Yes. They think the existing stuff. Again, I think that'll address our.
I think that would be the easiest way of input.
If you have a question, I'm not assuming that the other thing, we'll get the positions. And so if anyone's interested, nobody will be good fit for that. Looks like stuff. This other situation, this is a little different approach. So we have the Heinesses have submitted the building permit, and we had some issues about basically the road, water, and sewer and so forth. I think we've largely addressed the road. We have some paperwork that still needs to be done. It sounds like the sewer is, the water has to have preliminary tests, and the sewer we can discuss the possibility of doing a test, so we know actually what we're doing. And we don't want to be a bottleneck. We have such a short construction season. We don't want to be a bottleneck. And so, one thing, this has been approved by planning and zoning. One of the things that Mr. Hymas had suggested is if we could approve this but they wouldn't pay the fee until the sewer had been, the issue had been resolved. So they wouldn't move forward, but we don't have to have a special meeting, we don't have to have another council meeting in June. If we could resolve that more quickly. So I've not come across a situation before, so I don't know exactly what all the questions around it, but that's a thought.
Neil, what's the sewer issue again?
It's us. So,
It's us.
okay, yeah, we don't have anything that's, we can formally adopt. We don't have a condition. There's still a lot of documentation. Show Charles. That process, but at the same time, I think it's in everybody's best interest that we hear that things are up to start before somebody connects it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, if you flush your toilet and it doesn't go down, you're not gonna be very happy, right? So, I think due diligence wise, so we're not maybe taking on more than we can possibly score, and what we that have to discuss with all the parties. And make sure we do some, maybe a camera of that sewer system, blow some water down it, make sure it flows. Kind of just do a quick inspection of all the manholes, make sure we're good enough to where we can say if we connect with it. If hopefully that would address any issue that they have in that inspection, and we can steps to see what they can do.
Mike, what kind of problem would it be to flush that, to run water down, something, and flush it, see if everything moves right?
I would like to get him over it because I never formally seen her again. We never formally had any information. I would request that we somehow get together and have a camera that each ran down the lines being what we do. The cracks in the pipe, roots, separation. I mean, there's 20 years that's been the great roots.
Will that work for you, Neil?
Yeah, I understand it, correct, that'd be excellent.
Let's pursue that, do that, add that out, if that take care.
I just don't want to have a problem for you, Neil, before we know what the system is, or a problem for us.
Yeah, I know, or that one of your employees back in about 2016, right in there, documented that some of the manholes haven't been grouted, there was some gravel in the manholes. So it's probably, hopefully nothing major, but but you already experienced one, manhole down in front of Bill King's house where water was flooding your city system, like stores, which we.
Fix that issue.
So I suspect.
That's my suspicion as well. That's why I want to make it inspection system before we allow a tie-in. Don't want to create a problem that we don't have.
I think that would be pretty.
So, and then upon that inspection, depending on what it is, I mean, we might have to have some mitigation tests, or it might be a thing where it brings up something that's so serious, I'd apologize for that, but where it's not cost effective to even deal with start over the process. I don't want that to happen, but I want to make sure that everybody's aware that could be a possibility. We don't know what.
Mayor, is that the line that runs down through Fred's place, that's calling you to, that line from the old Jewett?
I was in everything tied to
Yeah, that's what I think, and it doesn't have to go into the stomach pump, if I remember right here to go. It ties into that line, so.
So they flow west and then tie in
Please.
So it goes up to the lift station.
It does go to the lift station. That's what I was,
Yeah, I think that was the point.
yeah, that's what I wanted. So when you get into the lift station, I it's work.
If we get it to there. That's the problem. We don't know what line.
Yeah, I
It's, I think it's the 7th Street, if I'm not mistaken, rest of Hunter Way looks like there's nothing on.
That's Mike's favorite list.
Hey, I've been in that hole too.
Okay, on the side note, we got our truck back?
Yeah. There's some, we got there, that's discussion on.
So what are your projections as far as the?
My recommendation that our next steps. Well, I don't know how we can approve a building permit, really the building permit doesn't have to be paid until we're ready to. So. But we gotta act on this. Yeah, so what I'm saying is we can approve the building permit and until he's ready to start construction. he doesn't. But you have to write that check and get that building permit prior to the start of construction. In the meantime, I would recommend that we get together with all the parties, all the property owners. I think there's a couple of them in the room and will be affected by this. Previous owners and try to get everyone on the same page and say this is what it's gonna take. We'll try to get some quotes what it costs. And see who's gonna bear that burden and how we're gonna make that happen. Come to a mutual agreement. And then. But we need, I think we do test the system. I would say that the burden somewhat relies upon the town to test it, but I don't think it's totally upon the town. Help with you, and I get where. Maybe the burden, I think we need to have that discussion in an informal manner, because that is fair.
So hold off on this for.
I'm sitting and couldn't pass the building, I think, but I think we ought to be putting conditions on it. And I think Neil would probably appreciate the condition where building doesn't start until after the sewer plant is, or sewer system is inspected and approved.
So I'll make a motion that we approve this, the building permit for Binuses, factory in location.
Oh, yeah.
Of the water scene, okay. With the condition that construction, the payment doesn't happen, construction doesn't happen until the sewer has been tested and approved by the town code.
Second, motion by Charles, second by Teresa. Approve this building permit with the condition. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
One more note, just, round some numbers, so the value of the hookup in town to pay for the system we have is well, but we're looking at the 3 lots there, if you have 3 lots hooked up, it's about $4,000 a year over a 5-year period of time, close to $20,000. And so, an underutilized system we have a hard time paying for it.
It's not part of the reason why we're in a $30,000 deficit.
Yeah.
Just so I'm clear. We are approving the building permit for the Highnesses with the condition that the payment and the construction does not happen until after an inspection has been done. Is that all of the conditions?
Yeah.
It's not true.
Inspection. I think you can have the engineer look at it to make sure it meets the specs, but I would recommend we maybe call Val Cotter and get some prices on a camera and inspection that's on the main sewer line and the manholes. To see what that cost would be. Our camera. Could we get it down that main line, do you think? We could. That's why I'd rather, and I think we'd be better, we'd have a very clear picture of what we have. It might cost us some money.
Mine,
Well, it would cost us some money, but it might cost us more than we might expect.
So just a point of clarification, for Neil, who is his point person on the city or the council at this point going forward?
Water sewer would be.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with that, Nick?
And yes.
Um. We. We'll just go with Mike. Public Works, what do you got?
Pick one, make that up. 50 days like that. I mean, you got it. Hopefully not enough water.
Wait, nobody else calling me for a couple weeks. Water coming out, well. Brad, you brought up the truck. We've been kind of fighting switches. We did it, we immediately picked it up, sent it in the shop. They did an inspection on it and found numerous problems that they could address. Apparently they billed us for, but they didn't.
Uh-oh.
Mike got it out. Mike and Bentley got it out yesterday. Found a couple hoses with some pretty good sized holes in them. Those didn't have to connect them up. So I spent the morning on the phone with the company that did the work for us. There was supposed to be an $18,000 bill. In bill today for that. Until they can remedy what they said they did. But we're not paying. They're gonna have a guy come up in the near future and do a once over on a truck, and make sure it gets everything. it needs. They were able to use it. It is functional. But all the repairs that were said to have been done were not done. So in 45 seconds that I was over there, I seen half a dozen. So well, just giving everybody an update on where that's at. Other thing I have is we need to in executive session discuss some personnel.
I make the motion.
Hold on, but before you do that, have you heard back at all from the governor? Over the lights?
I got a response back from his office. Other than the fact that they forwarded the message to the white off person who basically said yes. I've had further discussions with, Steve there, talking about Dan Dobstetter. I went to a meeting today where he was at today. We had discussions with him today on the lights, and he's gonna try and push on his end. But basically, he told me $40,000 for the state of Wyoming. It's chump change, and he'll do what he can do. I don't know if we'll end up getting it. That's what he said.
Okay, thanks for the feedback.
Other than that, basically all the information I have is. I will bring up one more thing I forgot about. I did get a email from Representative Miner on the grant opportunity for putting a crossing in over Barrow Crossing. That grant would be due June 5th. I can't remember if it has a 20% or a 40%. trying to pull it up on me, not to have it. That would be the hard thing to come up with, like that, it's almost be. From the way it sounds, we'd almost be guaranteed to get that money. We wanted to put an ADA crossing across the railroad tracks. But. We'd have to come up with that match, and it doesn't sound like it could be in kind match. That felt. And so I don't know. How the council feels about that, and maybe worth looking into and doing some research. Currently, I don't know what he's got that. It's.
What's going on? As a grant.
There's like. The high acronym. When 1.1 billion is available, by 25-26 funding now. It requires a 20% match. It says it may be in kind, but it doesn't guarantee that.
So it would come up like 200 million or so.
Well, I don't know. Also, we don't have current total on the negative before the process. But if something you wanting to try to get that. That being said, that's all I have to share, but we need to go into executive session.
That's a second.
Motion by Teresa, second by Howard. All in favor?
Don't go anywhere.
You better. Then you. But what's this again?
On. What day? The 20th. Yes, they, no, all day. And you, your kid. I finally got with my wife. I don't have anything. Well, I don't want this to be something. But. All the bad things. Grab that all day. I had. But I'm sure there's something. YouTube. You.
Yes.
Alrighty. And it's already. Give me three topics back running there. Good. About like dog. Dog. Big arms and. So much fucking older, I'll begin. Let's go. Yeah. No, you don't. You know. And. Yeah. That's right. You're in. Yeah. I don't say that. No good. How people. Yes, to be so crazy. Yeah, I just think that it comes out. I got something. No, we. Be good water. First. I don't. We were already. See, so. And I didn't. It's still you. That's it. I didn't. Yes. Yeah. I get 3L.
Smaller. Yeah. All. Yeah. I just got it. Right around Palm, I speak, I asked. They give her enough 10 minutes. Or goes to enterprise. See, what in the. I'm very. You guys get down. We get. That's it. I said, oh, yeah. Just like, yeah, like. That's one. You left. And so.
You never said it. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So. I don't. Fun, here's the second. Yeah, incorrect. And it's that. Now. Yeah, standing where. And I was like, it's expensive. And that's it. I mean, this I you see the school. So this is, I mean, excuse me. Oh my God. You would make me laugh too, because I was in the. So. Rather you being a sponsor of the stars, but at least. That's okay. Oh, is that there?
Let's see that that's exactly right. They see. We're. Change. What is it? Employee. Even though. It's. I bet you can. Yeah. And the last part one. Yes.
Everybody. They gotta just figure out.
So simple. Everybody's filled up. This person is right. But that's not right.
Or just at least flow.
I move that we reconvene.
By Teresa, second by Brad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a new clerk. Me. I'll have it in a few minutes anyway. If I can entertain a motion to accept the hiring. Michelle Heimer.
I move that we, accept Michelle. Irene Michelle as our.
Second. Got a motion by Teresa and Carl beat to the second. Further discussion. All in favor?
I
Motion carries.
move the motion that we appoint the new town clerk. Michelle. To the town of Cokeville.
Can you use your full name, please?
Michelle Hyman. Do I have to use the middle name?
Not that.
We gotta be a little bit with that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Motion by Brad to appoint Michelle Heimer as a town clerk. Seconded by Teresa. All in favor, or any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. It's official, you're the town clerk. Easy over there in the gallery. One, we want to discuss some of these.
Make a motion to extend the job application for the police, the Diva Police until July 14th.
Give us a couple more months to get some better applicants. Barb, we'll have a discussion. It's okay, I promise. Get fair with. Motion by Brad, second by Teresa. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
We don't have the. Who had to say this? Let's discuss it. Administrative. Wayne, Wayne. Hey, second it. Chris and I were pretty close, so you can continue on. Read the third. Two point five. Good job. Before we just where you were playing. Hey. I'm not joking. There's. Mine's off. I'll turn on fast. Wait. Okay. So I Wayne, where'd you go? I'm getting. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad. Whatever. Like. That means get a make job.
Here you go, Mary. Hey, you didn't even open your Reese's any more than my turkey. I thought you were gonna. I'm gonna need this. I didn't have anything today in the afternoon, so I thought it'd be weird if I'm over here. I will tell you that. Thank you. That you're only ready. What? You're bringing. I kind of like her. I like to eat. I don't like chewing her candy. Here, I'm gonna turn these off. Well.
We're in trouble. I don't like being in trouble. No.
Your answer was.
Thank you. Ditto.
Thank you. But yeah, it's.
I had fantasy that.
Great.
No, that was when he was putting it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Finish my term.
Right.
You can. I'm finishing. Dan would have been.
Great.
I know, I was.
That is all. It's all. You're only is that. I was appointed.
Yeah.
Election. We need it.
Hey, keep your fingers on the top, so that's where it's all about. Then it's important. And then if you, because also, if you get 3 or 4 people of it, then it spreads everything. You don't. Then what? Those are.
That would be nice though.
On us. Teacher's done, they
Do that.
Yeah, I'll be thinking.
84, 85.
Yeah, go.
No.
I would be good.
No, it's all.
I don't know which one was what. It was a small one. These two decided.
No, we already made a bet. I wasn't going to sit there.
That's a big deal. So. Fine. Anything else? Yeah, no, reality, honestly, we never accepted it. It's 40 cases left. Burn should fall. Agreements way out. That was. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. It's been a frustrating issue for a lot of people. So I'd like to get it settled.
Yeah, yeah.
On multiple levels.
I guess, don't, but I have to go, that phase order says. I'm not.
Which avenue? I gotta get some footages of it.
Like said, please, Scott. Doesn't really.
So. It's solar.
Great. Really, what's be better? Except that area, so they did. But sitting there on my memory to go. Really helps, but. That would require a bond. Nothing. I got, yeah, I think
That's where.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah. You get both. That's it.
And the road, like.